What if climate action wasn't a cost center, but a competitive edge? What if small and mid sized businesses could cut emissions and grow profits powered not by consultants nor carbon credits, but by autonomous AI agents working behind the scenes? Today on Lead with AI, I'm joined by Dr. Anand Verma, founder and CEO of Expect AI, a climate AI company that's flipping the script on how businesses decarbonize. From a string of successful exits to leading a 700 million euro in digital innovation at Emphasis, he is on a mission to humanize AI and fight climate change at scale. His AI doesn't only analyze, it acts. It taps into public data, finds hidden efficiency, and drives real environmental and economic results. If you care about the planet, believe in tech that serves people, and want to see what real impact looks like when AI meets intent, this episode's for you. Let's dive into the mind of a founder who's using AI to build a better future for businesses and the earth. Let's get into it. Welcome to Lead with AI. I'm Dr. Tamara Nall. In each episode, we will take you behind the scenes with visionary leaders shaping the future of AI across public and private sectors. Join us as we explore groundbreaking projects and innovations that are transforming industries and making a real impact on people's lives. Let's dive in. Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Tamara Nall. I am your host with the Lead with AI podcast. And I'm so excited today to have Anand Verma from Expect AI. Welcome, Anand. How are you?
I'm great. Great to be here, Dr. Tamara. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about you.
All right. So it's a long story, but I'll cut it short.
Okay.
So my name is Dr. Anand Verma. I'm the founder and CEO of Expect AI. And our mission is to help small to mid-sized businesses reduce their emissions, but increase their profitability. So we call that profitable climate action. I've been a computer scientist in the past doing machine learning when AI was not that popular. But I feel that AI has come at the right time to help my customers and the small businesses be successful.
Amazing. So you're a pioneer. So you were there before it was there.
I think the same, right? It's
Yeah.
sometimes it takes time to become democratized, and I feel that that this is truly in the hands of real people and people who are not technical, but using AI to kind of truly transform their business and personal lives.
Right. Love that. So let's talk about our listeners like to know about our guest and who you are at your core. So tell us about who you are at your core, because every great AI product starts with a vision. It's a moment, it's a problem that made you say, you know what, this needs to exist. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's a great one, and sometimes you have to introspect about yourself when these questions actually come in. At the heart of myself, I am a problem solver, and I also consider myself a kind of a creative technologist, right? So I always look at how the system change could be made with the power of technology, but also understanding of the human being. So that's who I am. And the origin of Expect AI is, this kind of sector called small to mid-sized businesses. And just to give you some numbers tomorrow, there are 330 million small businesses in the world. They are the heartbeat of any economy. They contribute 40 to 50% of the global emissions. And yet, nobody is talking about them. Nobody is talking about them. They're short of ideas, they're short of capital, and they're short of knowledge. And I truly believe, right, Expect AI's mission is to use the power of data, public data especially, and use the power of AI to help these companies who are truly in desperate need to create a better outcome for them, become more profitable, but also become more sustainable. That's where Expect AI comes in.
Got it. And if I'm a small business, is there a certain type of small business? Do I need to be retail and brick and mortar? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So, I think we are more of a horizontal platform. So what I mean by that is that we include all kinds of companies, yet There are some companies who are going to take more advantage of our platform than the other right now. So if I'm a
Okay.
highly emissive company, like I'm in agriculture or construction or let's say transportation, those companies truly get attracted by a platform because there is a insurmountable amount of pressure on top of them, either from their procurement or from their supply chain and so on and so forth. And also they want to do good and they want to take action. I would say our platform is highly inclusive and highly
Okay.
accessible, but you'll see a bit of a kind of curve whereby the highly emitted sector will deploy our solutions faster than some of the companies who are not yet. Like fashion is a great example. It's a very highly
Yeah.
emitted sector. And we
Yes.
see fashion as a great kind of opportunity. Industry sector is a great opportunity for our platform to truly make a difference.
Okay. Now let's talk about that holy smokes moment. What's the what's the jaw drop moment when people first experience Expect AI and realize that it changes everything for them in terms of moving more towards profitability?
Yeah, no, I think Holy Smokes is a great one because sometimes you wonder why are you doing what you're doing and how you're doing what you're doing, and I really believe that for us when our platform is called Una tomorrow, so when Una starts to calculate the emission of a company without that company putting their own private data and shows the path of success, people like, where did that come from, right? Where did that come from? And I think for us, it's that kind of wow moment, which kind of connects with the user, connects with the business, and says that we are here for you. We have done the hard yard to understand you. Remember you have a website. Remember you have disclosed something on SEC or in Companies House in the UK. We have actually gathered that information, create a profile, a persona of you, and we are now kind of giving back to you, right? That makes your business more successful. That is wow, right? And I
Wow.
hope
Yeah.
there are many wows are in the platform, but I let the users decide,
Right.
if they believe me or not, right? But that to me is this interrelationship between public data, AI, and ability for it to create what we call is adaptive carbon profile, which is same way you've got our profiles on LinkedIn.
Yes. Yep. Hmm.
On our platform, we've got SME profile on our platform that is created off the bat from publicly available data, right?
Oh
And
wow. Wow.
that is wow. So that's my kind of big kind of punch in line here to see
Okay.
that this is cool, and I'm hoping that adaptive carbon profile becomes a standard
Yes.
3 years, 4 years time. So any company looking for any company, they go to Una, they type the company name, and it's there. Boom.
Right. It's like they know that they've gone through and you set the standard in terms of their
Correct.
carbon footprint. Okay,
That's the
I love
goal. That's goal.
I love that. So tell us about a customer experience where they used the platform and had results. They were like, "Oh my God, this is like really happening." Give us the best example you can about?
So think of Una as like a neural engine with climate and business intelligence. So today, tomorrow, there is climate intelligence and then there's business intelligence. So we see a white space where Una can play a role in bringing those two things together, right? So what we have done is we have made it as easy as typing your company name into a Google-like search, and
Oh,
then it creates a profile for you. So like I said, it's adaptive carbon profile. Now, that adaptive carbon profile is built with world's first climate knowledge graph, right? And why do we say knowledge? Because knowledge drives insights and insights drive actions. And this knowledge graph is basically a neural network of relationships and opportunities. So let's say, Tamara PLC or a Inc. is a company searching for the for itself on the platform. We're able to actually connect you with opportunities and connect you with what you should be doing, right? So we
for
brought this
saving.
for
For
savings. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. For savings, but also furthermore, we are using agentic experience. So for example, in the UK, if I can share an example, there is
Yes.
5 billion pounds worth of green subsidies available. Normally, every year it gets underused or unused by the companies. Now, what we have done is we have gathered, ingested all that subsidy data into easy to use so that SME can say, hey, I'm looking for this particular subsidy. And then the agent does all the work, all the 9 steps. And what used to take 6 months now takes 6 minutes for that company to get that delivered into their bottom line. So our
Right.
goal is to create a new balance sheet for the companies. Can AI help SMEs double their profit and double their impact? That's our thesis. We're still early in that process, but I
Yes.
truly believe that we can make them more profitable, more productive, and more sustainable. So our experience has to be jaw-droppingly amazing, right?
Yes.
From searching a company to following the agents to making sure that they're notified when something happens is for us
Right.
is really, really important part of our offering to our customers.
That's amazing. So let's go under the hood a little bit. Let's go into the brain of the
Yeah,
platform. What if I'm a new business and I don't have really a social media or digital or electronic footprint?
sure.
Is there a certain sweet spot in terms of how many years, the type of presence I have out there? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's a really good question. So I think our thesis is that if I'm an existing business, I have my digital estate and I can go and find stuff about me, right? But if I'm a new business, what we do is if there is no data, then we create what we call as a proxy data, right? So what are
Oh,
the
okay.
companies like you out
Okay.
there so that we create a profile for you and we give it a confidence score. And that confidence
Okay.
score may be very low, but the idea is to get you to start
Some,
ingesting your
right.
private data, right? So
Right.
that engagement, that relationship, that trust is super critical for us to build a longevity in our platform, right? So we
Right.
don't discount anyone. We want to be an inclusive company, and climate is one of those things you have to work together, right? This is not like, hey, Anand Verma has solved the problem. That's not the intent here. Intent here is to find this systemic change contributors that enables that newbie to feel that they can also contribute, right? And that's
I
really
love
important part of it.
Yeah, I love that. And so you put in, let's say, so one of my companies is the leading niche. You can put that in. And then do I need to put in that I'm in California or New York or
Exactly. So we
okay.
capture. So think of this as a kind of a mind map of your company, right? So your company will be in the center, your location will pop out, then your industry sector will pop out, then how many employees pops out, how much your revenue pops out, on so on and so forth. So we build this neural network, right?
Okay.
And that neural network finds opportunities. It creates, detects anomalies. It creates, new ways of looking at your business that you hadn't before. So right now, if it's a new business, start small. But if it's existing business, it already spawns across multiple different folds, right? So
Right.
that's been our biggest kind of contribution to our technology over the last 3 years is building that network first and then building the app on top of it, right? And
Got
that's why AI is very, very powerful when the data is there. If it's not there, then it kind of struggles to create some, right?
right. Now if my profile is created, can I then edit it to make it more accurate?
100%. So our goal is that to show the companies that they can start their job in a very accelerated fashion or their work in a very accelerated fashion. That's why we use public data. That's first.
Yes.
Second, we always invite them to add their private data. So if you remember what happened to LinkedIn back in 15 years ago, they start to ask you about, Dr. Tamara, which university did you go to? Hey, when did you last graduate? Hey, which company did you work? So it kept asking you that question. So that progressive disclosure build your profile to be accurate. Now it's become a muscle memory, but back in the day, they'll give you a 60%, 70%, 80% profile completeness score. So we are following a similar psychological path, right? So, but in our
Okay.
case, 60% is already there from the public
Yes.
data, right?
Okay.
So adding
Yes.
the rest 10, 15, 20% over the period to come is where we kind of get a lot of private data from our customers.
Okay. Now, as you think about the development of the platform, what are the ethical lines that you're watching, and how do you protect the human and privacy in all of this?
It's a really, really good question. And I think it's with AI, there's a huge amount of debate on, how do you kind of look at that line of ethics versus, plagiarism or copyright, for example. So I think two things kind of keeps me awake all the time. One is transparency. And
Yeah.
then second is the autonomy, right? So every data that we collect we show the source of where did the data actually
Okay.
originate from. That's the first thing we do. And the data provenance and the traceability and auditability is very core to our heart, because climate and finance especially is an auditable asset, right? So we want to make sure that the accountants in the financial services organization can look at our data and say, we believe in the source of this data, which means that this is auditable, right? So that's one
Got it.
component. The second thing, which is, I think there's a lot of debate out there, but I really believe that human in the loop is really important. So I might not have all the employees in my organization, but with AI and I'm in the loop, I feel more confident that jobs will get done the way I want it, right? And that's really important, right? So all in all, we feel that, ensuring that AI augments the human agency is really core part of our thesis. AI should not replace humans; it should augment humans, right? So,
Yes.
so I think that's been a fundamentally the core part of our manifesto of our technical design, and we make sure that we always look back and say, are we crossing the line, or are we within the our manifesto thesis?
Okay, I love that. So now let's think futuristic. Let's fast forward to 2030. What does the future powered by Expect AI feel like to the everyday small business?
Like an entrepreneur, this is my third venture,
Oh, okay. I
Dr.
love it.
Tamara, and I think my first one, my tagline was "Make life simply better," right? And I feel that the future has to be about better planet, better society, and better businesses, right? And unless we make profitable businesses, I don't think people will think about climate and the impact. So this kind of relationship between profitability and sustainability is truly kind of core to our strategy. So in the future, what I would really love for AI to do is agentic AI more so. So there are a lot of jobs to be done by any company, be it a small to mid-sized business or be it a large business, for example. So our mission vision is that we become the AI backbone for SMEs globally, which means that getting them to focus on their core business and growing that, and let the AI do its job in order to
Right.
add more time, more
Yes.
profitability, and more sustainability is where I would like this company to be in 2030, right? Now, if I
Okay.
put that in numbers, is I think we can reduce 500 megatons worth of emission by 2030, and we can add close to $40 billion in savings by
Wow.
2030, right?
Let's do it. Yeah.
And that to me is the North Star for us. And I hope we get the right kind of support and custom to kind of get to that BHAG, big audacious kind of goal.
Yes. Now, so make us believers. If I'm listening to your podcast, and there are going to be plenty of people listening to this podcast and this discussion, what can I do this week? Talk to me. What should I do this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, end of the day, some actions will be easier and some will be harder. So we call it, more kind of changing in your policy or your kind of soft actions. But a lot of actions require capex, right? They require investment, putting a solar panel on your warehouse roof or putting better energy efficient light bulbs and so on and so forth. Every little counts, right? That's the kind of first thing you got to think about. But a lot of companies don't know where to start, how to start, what improvements they can make, and so on and so forth. I really urge the listeners of this wonderful podcast to put their company name in or put one of the suppliers in and say, you know what, I'm curious to find out what improvements I can make for this company
Yes.
or my company and so on and so forth. I really would love for you to try and see the magic happen, right? That will be my urge. And, kind of, I can talk till the cows come home, as they say in England, but end of the day, showing is believing, right?
It's
And I
better.
think
Yep.
that's where I believe that it's all about every little action, every recommendation, every action, and just seeing your data kind of play the role of a mirror and telling you and guiding you in terms of what you should do is the best way of getting the audience to believe in this.
Got it. So, how does that happen? Where do we find you?
Yeah, so look for expectai.com. It's very easy. Una is our platform, so you'll be able to see the access. If you want to look at the demo for, let's say your country is not covered on the platform, you can ask contact me at Anand at expectai.com, and we'll make it happen, right? But I think expectai.com is the perfect place to go and start your journey on Una.
And which countries are you in right now?
So we're in the UK. So we cover 5.6 million companies in the UK. We are aggressively moving towards the US.
Yes.
And by New York Climate Week in September, we should be launching our product in the US. And by the end of this year, we should cover New York, California, Massachusetts, 3 states. But with public data, world is your oyster, literally, right? So
Yes,
we really believe that we can get past the full US market access by mid next year. But we're starting state by state is the plan right now.
You mentioned you have a love for Africa. Tell us a little bit about that.
Look, my wife is of Indian origin, but she was born in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, and I've got lots of friends from Africa. I went to university with a lot of friends from Ghana and Nigeria and many other places. And Africa is interesting because, I think it's been kind of left out of the digital revolution. And that's what they did so well, moving from wired telephony to mobile telephony with all this kind of, they leapfrog. First time, and I say it from my heart rather than my mind, I really believe that AI democratizes knowledge and access.
Yes.
And Africa, and I have a lot of wonderful friends, and Africa is full of talent, full of youth, full of opportunities. But I feel that it's been very extractive over the last 30, 40 years by external bodies and countries. But this is Africa's chance to use AI, put that at the core strategy, and make sure that they actually double their profit and double their impact. Again, same thing that we've just talked about for the SMEs market. So that's why I'm quite excited about what Africa can do, not just because my wife is from there, but also I believe that AI presents the true opportunity for African youth and the leaders.
Right. No, I absolutely agree. I love Africa as well. I actually, my husband is Nigerian, and also I lived in Nigeria way before I met him for some work that we did for a bank there. And I've traveled throughout Africa. So the potential, like you said, is amazing. Yeah. The talent that we have there, and like you said, a very youthful population. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
So now let's move to what we call from one genius to another. So our last guest has a question for you, and that question is, how do you think about the risk of fake content and data privacy, especially as parents upload images of their children to AI tools that store data in the cloud?
It's I've got 2 kids, 18-year-old son and 14-year-old daughter, and I have to say I worry about my daughter more than my son because of the nature of content that is available out there, especially in social media and other places. And it's a fine balance between stopping it and also trusting the internet. I feel I really believe trust is everything, right? And I really believe these big tech companies have to put that at the core of their agenda, and government and the tech companies can do more on this. But also I have the responsibility, and we have the responsibility to make sure that it's embedded in the system, embedded in our culture and value, right? So, and one of our core values, so I've got 5 values behind me, and one of them says, where is it? Act with integrity, right?
Yeah, right behind you,
right behind me, right? And the reason I always put that, this is that culture of the company is defined by the values. And I think every company must have those values, in my view, right? So, I think we need to make sure that we don't touch personal data. It's really important for us. But company data is a different, it's for more value creation. The data is verifiable and auditable. It's really important for us. And we need to make sure that we focus on why do we exist as a company? And it's about real outcomes for the business, right? So I think as long as it's grounded on trust, and especially dealing with business critical information, I think that I believe will overcome the fake content and data privacy issue. But I do fear, right? I mean, I can't just leave this podcast saying that, hey, everything is great and blah, blah, blah. But I do fear for what AI can generate and will generate, and how real it's becoming with all of these image and video tools.
Right.
But I do think the responsibility lies with the company and the regulators. And it's very
Yeah.
important because I think about, as a parent, I think about my daughter, and I would not do anything in my company to hamper or hurt that community. So why can't everybody else feel and do the same, right? So yeah, it's a real kind of, I think it's a trust and culture topic, Dr. Tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I love the fact that you said start from within, like
Yeah.
start with yourself and your business and myself and my business. And then I love the fact that you can think about someone that is dear to you and to your heart and build it with that person in mind and protecting that person.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And everybody has someone dear to them, right? Mother,
Yes,
sister, father,
absolutely.
brother. And then I think sometimes, lose track because there's so much commercial pressure to compete that we lose track of, what matters and what doesn't, right? So anyway, it's a bit of a heart and brain kind of conversation,
Yeah.
but I believe we need both to create a better
Yeah.
outcome for our next generation.
Awesome. Okay, so let's have rapid fire. Most overrated take trend.
I think a metaverse for companies or SMEs. I think I always think about how SMEs can go into this metaverse world and connect with them. And the second one I would say, if I may, is kind of AI will take your job. I don't believe a word of it. I think it's something that I feel that will evolve, like with industrial revolution and internet and so on and so forth. But I think AI augmented with human will create more opportunity, and it will not take the job. Is what I think. Yeah.
Okay. Most underhyped AI breakthrough.
You know what I'm going to say, right? So I think the agentic AI, if
Uh-huh.
it's done right,
Yes.
what I call is agentic experience models. I think that to me would be really cool to get all of these kind of things that I don't want to do, but I have to do it. But so I can put more time on high impact, high value stuff.
One book everyone should read on the future.
All right. So I think The Ministry for the Future. I don't know if you know this. Ministry for the Future by Kim Stanley Robinson. Wonderful
Okay.
book. Wonderful book.
Okay. I'll
And
check it out.
it's kind of in between sci-fi and reality. And everything that or most of the things that he said in the book is somewhat coming real, which is
Real.
crazy.
Okay, we'll have
Yeah.
to check that one out.
Yeah.
The boldest AI prediction you believe in.
I think I'll be selfish and say Una will be able to make companies sustainable without much intervention from the SME directors and users. I really believe that Una has the power to be the AI backbone for the SMEs. And just like LinkedIn did with billions of professionals, I think I would love to do that for 350 million SMEs out there.
I know. In our hook or something, we're gonna have that. Una, the LinkedIn of something. We'll figure out something. We're really creative. So, Dr. Verma, I really have enjoyed this discussion. We've learned a lot. It's going to be helpful. We know now that you're available in the UK in September. We look forward to your being available in the US. And then we'll make sure that we always go to your website to see when you launch in different countries. So tell us again, how can we get in contact with you? How can we get to Expect AI?
Thank you, Dr. Tamara. So expectai.com, Anand, ANAND at expectai.com. I'm also on LinkedIn, Anand Verma. I am a LinkedIn junkie, so you can find me and I'll respond back to you. Yeah.
Awesome. So I look forward to, and thank you so much for your time and all the wonderful things that you're doing. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me on your wonderful podcast, Dr. Tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in to Lead with AI. I'll see you next time as we continue exploring the cutting-edge innovations shaping AI across the public and private sectors. Until then, keep leading with AI.